Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jackie of J. Murray Booklet. So today I am making a video about the 6 things that you need to know about being a unit secretary. The first thing is unit secretaries are responsible for clerical and administrative tasks in the hospital and other medical facilities. And the tasks that they do varies. So it just varies from unit to unit. The unit secretary, the job that you do depends on the size of the unit, the type of facility, and things like that. So when I worked on the main floor, we used to, of course, answer the phones and things like that, but we never ordered supplies. But then when I went over to the ICU, we did everything you're supposed to do as unit secretary, but we ordered supplies. We ordered supplies for the pantry. We did not order supplies for like the clean utility. We didn't we didn't order that. We did put it up when, the shipment came. We did do that. And then of course, our half sister floor, I like to call it our half sister floor. It was kind of like an outpatient, and the secretary over there would, do everything you do as secretary, but she would prepare charts for the procedures. She would do a little bit of scheduling, greeting, of course, the patients and the visitors. So, depending on what type of unit you work on, your job duties will be different. Okay. So, now I want to say, as far as the pantry, with so when I was on the main floor, we didn't order supplies, but at a certain point, but when I went to the ICU, we did like the pantry supplies, like the juices and the sandwiches, things like that. But then they gave that responsibility to all the secretaries, so then they made it like a hospital-wide thing because it didn't make sense that some secretaries will order for their floor while others didn't. And so they changed the way we ordered, and so they gave access to everyone, because before we would just fill out a sheet and fax it down to the pantry, but this time they put a system in, so we had to go into a system. And so our job was to, like, we were the ones who create the passwords. The secretaries create the passwords. The charge nurses didn't even have the passwords. And I think we had to change them like every 60 days. We had to change the password. So we had to keep it written down, because like whoever ordered, they would be the ones to change the password. So we had to write it down so that the next secretary would know. You understand what I'm saying? What the password was, because that was the only way we can get our supplies. And but yeah, the things you do on the unit, it varies. You know, of course, we all answer the phones, we all greet the patients and visitors, but some do more than others. Okay, some order the pantry supplies, some order the regular supplies. Unit secretaries typically have a high school diploma or equivalent and some medical training or experience. So of course, I have an AA degree. I have my associate's degree, and of course, I had medical training. That's how I got hired. So when I became a unit secretary, I already had my AA, and I already had medical experience, more medical billing. That was I knew medical. Well, let me phrase that: more medical terminology. That's the experience I had. And 9 times out of 10, when you look at a job posting, the job description is the same. I don't care where you look, what website, what hospital, what medical facility, it doesn't matter. They're all asking pretty much for the same thing. Some things may vary, but for the most part, they're all asking for the same thing. So they're asking for, if you have, high school graduate, or or experience, or equivalent. Um, Clerical work, previous work, whether you're in a hospital or a doctor's office or, something like that. Medical terminology, it's kind of wishy-washy on the medical terminology. They want you to know a little something. You don't have to know everything, but they want you to know a little something about medical terminology. Um, they want you to know how to work the fax machine, the telephone, um, printers, all that stuff, like that and more. Like you're not just gonna print something. You gonna get that jam. You gonna get that paper jam. You're not just gonna fax something. You're gonna have to know how to work everything. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna multitask. You're not just gonna answer one line. You're gonna answer 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines ringing. You're gonna be on that phone. And of course, computer skills, know how to navigate the different systems, because you will have multiple systems up. It's not just gonna be one system you're working out of. Knowing how to be, knowing how to organize, how to speak, good customer service, things like that. And then the ability to handle multiple priorities with little supervision. And that is the number one thing. And I think I made a video with the 3 hardest things about being a unit secretary, and that's one of them, is being able to multitask. That and the personalities, dealing with the personalities of everyone, because you got all kinds of personalities in a hospital. But yeah, being able to multitask is a big one. If you can't do that, then it's gonna be hard to maintain that job. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics project that employment for unit secretaries will grow by 11% by 2030. So, of course, I had to do some digging just to make sure that that was right. And I got the link right there for you. But secretaries are divided into multiple categories. So you got secretary working in doctor's office. I'm sorry, not doctor's office. Well, yeah, doctor's office, medical secretaries, legal, in all kinds of industries. But I think all of them were in decline except this in another field. But everyone else, their fields were declining. The secretaries were declining, but the medical secretaries were increasing. And one of the reasons for that is because hospitals or just medical facilities in general are moving towards outpatient. So you'll have a hospital, you have a main hospital, they might have another hospital, but then they have clinics. So instead of the person coming to the hospital and being treated, well, let me phrase that. Instead of the person coming to the hospital, getting a bed to be treated for something that's not that serious, they'll go to the outpatient facility, or they will go to, they will come. So like our half sister floor, it's an outpatient facility. You come in to have a procedure done, but then you can either be discharged, or you can, if they need to observe you for another night, or you need to be made inpatient, then they make you inpatient. The ER is an outpatient facility, because everyone who comes to the ER does not everyone who comes to the ER does not necessarily get admitted to the hospital. Do you understand? So the ER is technically an outpatient. You're not an inpatient. You're an outpatient if you get discharged. So they're creating more facilities. That's why you have like the standalone ERs. That's what that is. So that's why the need for unit secretaries are there, because the medical facilities are creating more outpatient facilities. They're creating urgent cares, things like that. So, it looks good for the secretaries. And like I said, out of all the different industries I looked at, only 2 were increasing. And it was medical secretaries and something. And then the last thing is the pay. People always ask about pay. And I put a link to where I got this information from, and it breaks everything down. It breaks it down by like how many secretaries are in each state. You know, it's coordinated. It breaks it down by how many secretary, the pay in each state, if it's like what the range is between, I think Florida was like 22 to 30 something, which, yeah, Tennessee, and then, showing the states where you get paid more and things like that. 40, upwards to 40,000. So yeah, some places pay a lot and some pay less. It's not the states you think it will be. I mean, well, some of the states that you think, well, yes, they pay a lot, yeah, they do. And then some states you think they would pay more, it's actually lower. It's just, it's a fascinating breakdown the way they have it. But the median income for secretaries as of May 2020 was $37,000. So, that's good. I mean, it depends on what state you're in, but that's the median. And like I said, it depends on what state you're in on how much you get paid. Some get paid $10, some get paid 30 $20. It just varies. It just varies from state to state. And yeah, that's the top 6 things you need to know about being a secretary. You can follow me on my blog. It's J. Marie Bookless. That's where I talk about being a unit secretary. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.